Tell us something we don't know about you.
Oof. I think a lot of people don't know a lot of things about me. Like, oh God, I have too many options. It's difficult, like in a creative way, in like a life kind of way. I think something a lot of people don't know about me is that the first home I grew up in was a refugee camp.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, tell us more about that.
I think that's something like I hardly ever talk about to people because it was like a long time ago when I was very little. And it doesn't seem that important to my current life anymore. But so when I was really little, my parents, or actually before I was born, my parents bought a big house on a big land to turn into a restaurant. They had a restaurant for a long time. It went well for a couple of years and then it didn't go so well because it was in the countryside. There's not a lot of visitors.
Yeah.
So like they went bankrupt. My dad was also horrible with money. So he just kept on taking more loans and loans and loans.
Oh,
and my
no.
mum co-signed everything, kind of not knowing what she was doing.
Yeah.
So he got our family into a huge amount of debt.
Wow.
So they closed the restaurant. And because we had this big house, this big land, they were trying to think about what to do with it. And at that time, I think, as far as I'm aware, I've tried to talk to my mum about this at some point, but it was kind of a bit like, oh, it's a long time ago. I don't know so much about it. Your dad handled a lot of it. So it's kind of hard to get detailed information about it. But so I think at the time, people were getting funding for taking in refugees. So like state provided funding. Because my biggest question was always, so my dad is FPÖ. My dad is super right-wing conservative. How did he decide to open a refugee camp and take in like political refugees or like refugees? I think it was money thing. I keep trying to figure
It's
in
like
my
a
head,
money laundering scheme.
in my head, it's like a very like, how do these two things make sense? How does the person who I know to be my dad make sense with like my growing up? And he accidentally bred a left-wing child. Not really meaning to, but he did. So we had...
You think that that growing up in a refugee camp like shaped
It definitely did shape a lot of my growing up in the way that so where it was like really rural countryside, like kind of Bad Radkersburg area, like in the south of Styria. And people didn't know anybody who wasn't from there. Like people, right? Like kind of, in their little bubble. And my family took in refugees mainly from Iran. I think it was like right after the Iran war. I'm not 100% sure historically.
Like the Iran-Iraq war, you mean?
I'm not entirely sure. I'd have to look it up. I just know that at the time there was a lot of refugees coming in from Iran. And we had this big old house, and the ground floor was turned into like a space for the refugees. So there was like a few rooms where like beds were put up, and then my mum cooked for all of the refugees. And I grew up with them and their kids and the families. And there was, for example, there's a picture up there. So the woman at the top is my mum. And the woman on the left is Sore, one of our refugees. The little girl in the middle is me. And the man next to me is Sore's husband. So my dad's not actually in that picture.
Okay.
And the boy next to him is my brother. So Sore and her husband were like my second parents. And I used to every morning climb out of bed, go downstairs and climb into bed with them and lie in between them. Instead of climbing into my mum's bed, I would go and hang out with them. And Sore was the first person who taught me how to draw.
Wow.
Like I really wanted to learn how to draw. And she just did these little doodles, these little like, oh, this is a lion. This is And I like loved it. And my mum didn't have any time because she was working all the time, very hard working. And like they were refugees, they weren't allowed to work at the time, and they loved kids. And they like so Sore spent hours with me. Like she would draw something and then put a line, and I had to repeat it. And I like kind of copy her drawing and
Yeah.
trying to learn, like, kind of mimicking
Yeah.
the lines and stuff. And it was the first, like my first start in learning how to draw.
Yeah, just train your muscles to be able to actually
I was like
do.
5, so it was just like, trying to copy the doodle.
Yeah. Wow.
Like this is how you draw a fork, kind of thing. And I remember quite clearly when we eventually had to sell that house and we moved. We moved into another like kind of small countryside town, and I remember being absolutely shocked because for me, I was like a little kid. I didn't really know anything about politics or anything like that in that way. And then, but I'd already known that people are hateful. Like I learned that quite early because people, even like back in like primary school, kids would bully us because their parents would say things like, that family brings in like the foreigners. So the kids would hear it, and then the kids would bully us, not understanding what was going on.
Yeah.
And then I remember moving and there being these kids, maybe like 10 years old. There was this one boy coming from looking back, like I think he said his mom was like in a mental hospital and his dad was like an alcoholic. And he would stand in the school and sing like the German national anthem and raise a fucking Hitler thing. And I was shocked. I was like, this is a 10-year-old boy. What do you know of anything of this?
Yeah.
Also, where's this hate coming from? I don't understand.
I mean, I think at this age, it's not hate.
It's copy paste.
Yeah, I think it's just like, I don't know, and also like generally like all these like national gestures, like they're fun, right? Especially if you're a kid, like it's fun to pretend you're doing something that like adults like,
but
and
also
like,
you maybe shouldn't be doing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, like maybe it's something you heard at home, so maybe you should be doing it. But I don't know.
Maybe, who knows?
But like what I mean, it's like like there's something very infantile about all these like national gestures. The problem is that like when you grow up and you keep doing this, like
exactly.
I don't mind so much kids doing it, but like but I understand also you like being shocked at like what the fuck is going on. Yeah,
I think the way like growing up in the refugee camp shaped me was more that I had more awareness from a very young age that other kids didn't have at all. And so they would say things and copy things they hadn't thought about. And I would relate it back and be like, wait, no, like none of this makes any sense. And yeah, I think it's just bred awareness and like, a certain, maybe a certain openness that other kids in the countryside didn't grow up with. And I say like my dad bred it by accident because he's actually quite a close-minded person in that way, unfortunately. He doesn't even like me being gay very much. So it's very dialectic.
I mean, you said you don't have it, so I guess you're not in contact.
I haven't seen him in like 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Last time I saw him is when I came out to him. I was in, it was very strange. I was in hospital. And my dad used to work in the hospital, and I had an accident, and somebody was like, because my mom couldn't come because she's like a bit further away, so they were like, call Manu's dad. He can come because he works in the hospital. He should go and see how I'm doing, even though he didn't have any legal guardianship, but he was there, and they were like, call an adult. He's there. And I remember being like in shock and in pain meds because I had an accident. It was just like, that kind of adrenaline. You say things because you're foggy. Yeah. And I remember I was about to go into head CT and my dad sitting next to me, and I was kind of like super like high on like adrenaline and pain meds. And I was just to my dad like, hey, I like heard my brother said something to you. Because my brother accidentally outed me to my brother before that. And I was like, Mario said something to you about me liking girls. And then my dad was like, yeah, he said something. Or just bullshit. Like he doesn't believe my brother. Yeah. And I was like, no, it's true. Dad, I'm gay.
And you were high.
Yeah, I was super high. And my dad just went, jeder hat sein Backel zum Tragen im Leben. Like, everybody's got their own problems in life. And I was like, okay. Like it's kind of the end of the conversation.
I see.
So that was like 15 years ago or something like that.
Side question you don't have to answer. Did you invite him to the wedding?
No.
Okay.
I don't even have his phone number anymore, I think. That was like very short interaction. It was not because of that I don't see my dad. There was a lot of years,
I guess it was like building up
a lot building up. It was quite a very harmful, toxic relationship. My dad's quite aggressive in a way. Like he was very choleric, scream in your face, like kind of person. And no, I think seeing him for the first time at my wedding as well, I think that would be horrible.
Yeah.
That'd be a bit of a nightmare. Yeah.
Shame.
Yeah.
I mean, dads are cool. Like when they're doing their job.
I wish I had one. Yeah. Like I've always I have this one friend, and we used to hang out a lot at his like family home. And they have such a lovely relationship with their dad. And I was always used to be a bit jealous. Like I was like, oh my God, your dad's so sweet. Like you're explaining to him how the iPad works. Like, and I was jealous of that. Like I want to explain to my dad how the iPad works. It's like, amazing. I forgot what the original question was, I have to say.
You were supposed to tell us something we don't know about you. I think you told us about a lot of things we didn't know about you.
I definitely went into too much detail. Refugee camp, don't have a dad.
Yeah.
So. I told you just like 2 things.
Cool.
That's it.
So,
knowing too much about each other.
Yes. Yeah.